Hello everybody, it's Steve Katsikaris, Norland Coboconk Watchdog. Today is August 15th, 2020, and the reason why I'm doing this particular video here today is just an update on the Value Mart shooting up in Minden there exactly 1 month ago on July 15th, 2020, and still to this day we have no recollection on who was involved in the shooting up on Indian Point Road in Haliburton. And I want the people of the community to know that the Norland Coboconk Watchdog and the Minden Watchdog, that's me, is not going to be giving up on this. And the SIU is trying to cover this up. And I also emailed the Attorney General of Ontario. They're trying to cover it up by saying the SIU is some kind of governing body. They are not. They're independent from law. The Attorney General needs to come clean on what happened, the simple facts, what happened, who was there, the police, that is, the constables' names, 2 of them that pulled the trigger on that man that day, and the person that was shot. The other reason that I'm doing this video is because I know the policeman's game. That's right. It's been coming to light now through other videos out there, starting with Dan Dick's Press for Truth, that the individual that did the alleged assault, the elderly man, 73-year-old, for not wearing a mask, the police actually showed up when he was still there at the store. And they had an opportunity to grab him and arrest him. They chose not to. You know why? They said for public's interest, safety. Yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. I know the policeman's trick. They wanted to find out where he was by scanning his license plate while he was still there. They knew Indian Point Road's an area up in the Haliburton area there where there's not too many people, not too many homes. And they decided to take the law into their own hands and go up there and murder him. Because according to law, if they didn't grab him there at the Value Mart when they had the chance, they needed to go see a judge to either get an arrest warrant or a promise to appear. And I've been going through the criminal code, and that's how the procedure works. You can't go and do that in 2 hours after the incident. It's going to take a day or so to see a judge, especially for something stupid like that. So what I'm trying to say is the police let him go on purpose so that they could go up to his house 2 hours later and blow him away, and then come up with a story that he had a gun and a pistol and was threatening them with it. At the end of the day, that's all a bunch of baloney. The police had no right to be there on his property. They had the opportunity to arrest him at the Value Mart. They chose not to. Then they need to follow procedure. They need to go to a judge, get a warrant, promise to appear, whatever it may be. But this is how the cops think that they're God, and they can go and murder someone and then have the confidence of their SIU to keep it all under the radar for several months so that the public forgets about this, and then bingo, the cops are off in cold-blooded murder. And since they did this, and they're professionals in law enforcement, this was definitely premeditated. It's the policeman's trick. Let them go home, let them get comfortable, and then we'll go up there a couple hours later and blow them away. That's first-degree murder. First-degree murder. Not in the heat of passion, because if they shot him at the Value Mart, it would be second degree. But since they let him go home, they had an opportunity to arrest him. They chose not to. They know the procedure. If they change their mind, they need to see a judge and get an arrest warrant or a promise to appear. And it was over human rights issues. If you take a look at the Human Rights Code of Ontario, you have the right to facilities and goods and services under the Human Rights Code. And since these rules, not laws, are not lawful, and there's nothing in these bills like Bill 195 or Bill 180 or whatever it is that Premier Ford tried to implement, really goes to show that the government is acting above the law. And I want to be clear to everybody that no one's above the law, not the Premier of Ontario, not the Prime Minister of Canada, and surely not the head of state, Julie Payette. And we already have a case inside the Federal Court of Canada, and she's scrubbing it without even it being heard by having her minions in the courthouses, the judges, the clerks, all conspiring together under 465 of the Criminal Code to obstruct justice and allow a conspiracy to commit murder against me, a person that looks out for the rule of law and also the public's interest. And once again, my videos that I put up here, my channel, is not monetized. I don't ask anything for this. I just simply care about my country and my community. That's why I do it, and I know the difference between right and wrong. And what's happening now to our country is wrong. It's definitely Nazi behavior. And taking a look back at World War II, we saw our grandfathers, our great-grandfathers fight for our freedom. But we got a little bit complacent over the last number of decades, thinking that the media or somebody else was going to challenge government. But we can see now that the CBC is totally in bed with these people, mainstream media in general. Even the alternative media is a little bit chicken to take this on. Just going around and making videos on whatever they want to do without actually checking the law. And that's what people need to do, is get into the law. Get the Criminal Code of Canada. Get these rules that Doug Ford's trying to implement on us and take a read through them. You're going to see that everything in there is not legal. Not legal at all. And after being a pilot for 12 years, every time I do a flight test, I have to demonstrate law, or I fail. Yeah, every 12 months, if I do a PPC ride, I have an inspector in front of me who tries to trick me and saying, can you do this, this, or this? And I have to say, no, you can't do it. But now I have to show why you can't do it, and that is called demonstration of law. And all you pilots out there who are flying over my house, all I can say to you is this: God bless you. Every time you fly over my place here, it gives me more energy to carry on the fight. I just feel like I'm a pilot down behind enemy lines and doing my duty to stop whatever's happening here and bring back our freedom. And that's what it's about, freedom. And I believe freedom's worth fighting for. And to see the people in the community hoping for a miracle to happen is not going to happen. And what we need to do now is start to bind together as a community and tell the police, you're not above the law. Tell city council, you're not above the law, and then have them prosecuted with the law. That's my take on things. And right now, we really have our country under siege right now. And I think we're seeing this around the world too. I was just taking a look at what's going on in Australia. Unbelievable. Curfews. After 8 o'clock at night, you get caught out in the street, you get arrested. Police and military checkpoints everywhere. Young women being strangled by cops. And then I found out today, that video I just put up about that young woman in Australia that was being strangled by that douchebag cop. They charged her for assault. You see? If you're a victim of these cops, you get assaulted and then you get charged for what they did to you. So she's going to go to jail now for her own beating or her own strangulation. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I don't know about you, but I couldn't sit there as a man and watch a woman get strangled by any guy without me intervening. And to see people just keep filming it and not stopping that cop is wrong. So I'll tell you right now, if I was there in Australia and I saw that, I would have grabbed that cop and beat the living shit right out of him.
The results quite obvious.
And what results are those?
Whatever he hits, he destroys.
And they could have filmed me doing that. Now they can go get me for assault, but at the end of the day, my defense is Criminal Code of Canada, persons protecting law. You don't do that to people. And when you do that to people, you deserve to get a good beating. I couldn't believe what I saw there in Australia a couple days ago. Unbelievable. And it's time for good people around our country to say no to Justin Trudeau, to say no to Premier Ford and all the other premiers for nothing more than a bunch of traitors, and the head of state, Governor General of Canada, Julie Payette. You don't care about your country, you don't care about your people, and you don't care about the Queen. And now the people, the Queen's people, are going to take action. We really are. This is not going to go on forever. A Nazi police state will not happen in Canada. It will not happen in Canada without a good damn fight. I'll tell you that right now. And for all the women and men at the Royal Canadian Air Force, once again, God bless you for flying over the house. And don't worry, I'm not going to be showing any tail numbers. We don't want the defense minister to court-martial you for some stupid reason. And if you do get in trouble, please contact me at katsikaris_steve@hotmail.com. I'll be looking into court-martial trials too. All I do all day long is look at law. So doing a court-martial trial is something that I'm looking forward to, especially if we can do it on the grounds of loyalty to the Queen and persons protecting law. So if you got an aircraft and you're one of the guys out here on Shadow Lake with a float plane, by all means keep buzzing the radar tower every day, because every time you do it, it puts a smile on my face, it gives me strength, and these government provocateurs that are stationed up here, it really rattles their cages, because it shows that I got air support. And I'm pretty confident that people in this community are starting to support me now too. Absolutely. We can't go on like this anymore. This COVID-19 is nothing more than a joke, all right? It's causing more damage by shutting things down and shooting people and arresting people than the actual disease itself. And we've been locked down now since March. We're coming up to the middle of August here now. But you can see the devastation here. Economically, elderly people being shot and murdered by police. The cops are covering it up. The SIU are covering it up. Mainstream media doesn't want to challenge it or chase it. But it's up to you and me. If we're going to win this country back, we're all going to have to become Canadians once again. Not just say we're Canadians, but really be Canadians like we were at Vimy Ridge. When those men climbed Vimy, they all knew they weren't going to make it, but they did make it, and we did get that victory, and we did defeat tyranny, and that was World War I. World War II, well, there's a whole bunch of other stories we can get into there. My grandfather fought in Holland, and my great-uncle fought in North Africa, so listening to their stories and what they did, I'm really proud of them, and I'm proud to be their grandson. So anyways, I'm Steve Katsikaris, or Norland Coboconk Watchdog, just giving you an update on the shooting at Haliburton, Minden last month. Still no word on who this individual was, but if anybody has any information about this, even just the name of the guy, I like to know, because I think this person deserves justice and his human rights were violated, and that was nothing more than a premeditated murder to go up to Indian Point Road, those two douchebag cops, and fill them full of bullets, and then make it look like he's some kind of criminal and menace. He sure wasn't. He was a person standing up for his rights, and a right you can never take away. And here's Doug Ford thinking he can take away people's rights without the proper legislation. And Justin Trudeau did not pass the Emergencies Act, and he had the ability to do so. And we're right here in August now. So what's he waiting for? Anyways, I said enough. I'm Steve Katsikaris, or Norland Coboconk and Minden Watchdog, looking out for the taxpayers and the environment. Stay tuned for my next video, and take care, everybody. So long.